ladies and gentlemen, Zoe Howard and Clyde Porter. How y'all doing?
We're doing really great today.
Yeah, so it's an honor to have both of y'all up here. Zoe, a big shout out to Chris Preston. She showed me your stuff back in June, and wow. I mean, y'all are really creating some beautiful music. Y'all are.
Yeah, I love Chris. She's awesome, and I love her band called Town Dixie, and it's awesome that she introduced you into Zoe Howard and Yellow Line.
Yeah, see, like I watched the Red Barn and stuff like that, and I was a really big fan of it. And then I went to Star City Days, and to be honest, I didn't recognize you right off the bat. I just seen like this one chick walking around, and you had tie-dye cowboy boots, and I'm like, that's some of the coolest cowboy boots that I've ever seen in my entire life. And then that's when you got on stage with your band and all that. I'm like, oh, that's Zoe. I had no idea. I just thought it was somebody walking around in the coolest cowboy boots I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've had them cowboy boots forever, and yeah, if you just see a girl walk around cowboy boots that are tie-dye, that's me always.
Where do you get tie-dye cowboy boots from?
Oh gosh, my nan got it for me about 3 years ago, and I've wore them to almost every gig I've had. Try to.
There's some of the coolest cowboy boots
All I
on
need
planet
is a
Earth.
tie-dye guitar, and I'm good.
And Clyde, I've heard quite a bit about you. This is the first time I've ever got to meet you. It's a pleasure meeting you. For the people that ain't familiar with you and what you've done for the community around here, kind of tell them your backstory.
I've been an instructor, a music instructor at the Mountain Arts Center since about the first year they opened.
Wow.
So I teach a lot of different things. And Zoe has been a voice student since she was 5. Teach banjo and guitar and bass guitar and violin and percussion and bass, whatever, you know.
How many instruments do you play?
About all of them. It's not magical. It's not nothing magical. They're all cousins. That's what I tell the students, you know.
I like that.
And how you do that, they say. I said, it's not magical. Didn't fall from heaven, and I just caught it one day. Music is music. The basics of music is music. So there's no other chords that's going to be created, and there's no other notes that's going to be created. So once you learn theory, you know, you can usually, if I know how an instrument's tuned, and it's not tooting my own horn, you can usually pick out a tune on it, you know.
What made you want to become a music instructor? What led you down that path?
I've played since I was 6, played guitar since I was 6, and we always played growing up and in different groups and things, and then that's what I went to college for. So, you know, but I didn't continue I don't teach high school or nothing, you know.
Yeah.
I taught continuing education for Pikeville and for UK. And then I've been a private instructor since I was like 19. So,
wow,
yeah,
that's
that's
crazy.
where I got into it, and I still like to play and all different types, bluegrass or classical or whatever.
And so y'all started working together when you were 5.
Yeah, 5 or 6 for almost 11 years now. Yeah.
I was still trying to stop peeing the bed whenever I was 5 years old. Like, I was still watching Barney and playing with Legos. Like, I didn't have a music instructor. So, like, what made you start it at such an early age? That blows my mind. Like, not a lot of 5-year-olds pick up a music instructor.
When I was actually 4 or 5, I took lessons with his name was Mikey Hall, and then one day the Mountain Arts Center called and said, hey, would you be interested in taking lessons at the MAC? And I started when I was about 5
Almost
or 6,
6,
almost 6.
Yeah.
And the reason I got started in music was because, like every other kid, you know, I grew up in church, and I sung along with our praise team, and I loved music growing up, listening to the Beatles and the Animals and CCR, and I just grew up with music.
That's so crazy. 5 years old. Like, I was going to ask how long you'd been doing this, and I was going to expect like maybe middle school or something like that, but no, 5 years old. So with the music that you're doing now, I see some people like call you Appalachian rock. I've seen some people call you folk. Like, how would y'all kind of describe the music that y'all create?
Some of the people have described me as an Appalachian Janis Joplin.
That's a cool, like that's almost an honor to be called that.
Yeah, quite a lot of people call me that. Appa Janis, Appa Joplin. That's what they call me.
Hey, that would be like a cool like album name or song name, Appa Joplin.
Appa Joplin.
That's cool. That's cool. I dig it.
And that's just my genre is Appalachian rock, Appalachian Joplin. Yeah. Just around that genre.
Well, yeah, I've seen like y'all do some covers and stuff on Facebook and YouTube, and I mean, literally, you do everything. You do from CCR to Montgomery Gentry to Nirvana. I'm like, it's all over the place.
Yeah. Most of the time, like at festivals and fests, like half the time I don't try to do all my originals. Like I can slip in some covers, and I like to do a lot of tributes with Creedence, and I love Fleetwood Mac. I absolutely love Stevie Nicks. And just covers vary from 70s to 60s music. Marshall Tucker Band.
Their show at the Mountain Arts Center was phenomenal. Yeah. Guess it was 3 years ago? Something like that.
Before the COVID.
Yeah. I'm thankful I got to see them right before COVID too.
Yeah.
That was a great show. Well, so what turned you on to this older style of music? Because not a lot of young people grow up listening to this stuff.
Yeah, I just grew up listening to mainly because my dad inspired me. Because like we would be driving down the car and he'd be listening to like Billy Joel and the Animals and Elvis Presley, which I'm not much into the 50s style. I'm more of 70s, 60s era. Yeah. But I just grew up listening to older music, and so did my mom. She's more into the rock than my dad, like in the 50s. But she introduced me to Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac and all that stuff. And I relate to it more than some of the newer pop music, which, don't get me wrong, I love all music. I love rap, bluegrass, country, pop, you name it. But I really enjoy playing and doing rock and Appalachian.
Yeah, I mean, well, when it comes to classic rock, there's just this magic about it that has made it able to sustain itself throughout the years. I mean, you're talking about these bands like the Beatles and the Animals and bands like that. I mean, even the Beatles, people still say is possibly the greatest band to ever exist. And that was back in the 60s, you know, and the 60s is quite some time ago, but yet they still are relevant today. And I don't know what it is about that music that makes it that way. Maybe there was more meaning to it, or they cared about it more back then, I guess, you know.
Yeah, a lot of their songs has stories involved in it, and relatable stories, and most of the time nowadays music is over about heartbreak and breakups, and
it's the same stuff,
and it's just the same stuff over and over again. And the Beatles related to everything, and they sung positive music and just happy music that everyone could dance to and enjoy, old folks, young folks. I don't know anyone who doesn't like the Beatles.
It is true. Clyde, whenever you're working with these the younger people, is that something that you try to do in your classes, kind of like turn them on to the older styles of music?
I always told Zoe, I said, Zoe, this new stuff, and it had nothing wrong with it, don't get me wrong. But I said, you know, and I told her, of course, she was all her dad, and Mom was already letting her listen to it, but the older stuff, you know, like Marshall Tucker, like the Doobie Brothers.
Love the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, I do too. And, you know, and Steely Dan.
Yeah.
You know, Fleetwood Mac. You know, she even does, you know, do we do a Skynyrd song?
I don't know, but I think we have. Sometimes.
Yeah, we have before. Yeah. Stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
And I let them pick out what they want to sing, because if they're not comfortable with it, they won't sing it. I mean, we're not going to do an aria. If they're wanting to do country, it ain't going to happen. I mean, you know, or if they want to do classic rock. So if they pick out what they want to do, And then we can critique it and say, you know, well, maybe that don't suit your voice. Maybe you need to try something else, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have a problem with Zoe. I mean, when she wrote these songs, she wrote the songs and we come and put them together on music. And the only thing I ever did was say, maybe we need to do a little different chord change in here to make it flow a little better. But it was very minute.
Yeah, whenever Chris was up here and we were talking about you, she's like, she's going to be one of the next big things. And I've heard that from quite a lot of people about a lot of people. So I just like normally say like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I'll check her out. You know, that's, and whenever I heard your voice, I'm like, whoa, like it just, you knew something was there. Was that the kind of the feeling that you had working with Zoe throughout the years? Like you're just like, wow, there's something special about her.
Zoe was never, it was not hard to work with Zoe. You didn't have to worry about her learning the song. Okay, but now if I always played with her before she started playing, and when she's little, if we played somewhere and I missed a chord, I'd get the stink eye.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
get one of them, and I'd be like, I'll get it. I mean, you know, because you know,
I'd look at it, I'd be like, Clyde, you missed a chord.
Yeah, she's got ready to skin me, you know. But even to this day, when we play somewhere, it's I don't have to worry about Zoe like when we had to do recitals at the Mac.
Yeah.
We just go in there and do it. But now, you know, and some of them you have to work with because they pick out songs that are way above whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and if that makes them happy, that's fine. That, you know. But Zoe always picked out something that was, you know, that everybody could play, even her songs she wrote. I mean, you know.
That's what I try to do mainly for recitals and festivals. I try to pick out the songs that the crowd would enjoy and that they already know, and mainly, you know, older songs that everyone knew and could get up and dance to and sing along to, and not just for them, but it's because we like to play it. We like to play them old songs, and we enjoy them.
That's cool that you're going about it that way. Like, I mean, you're still pleasing the crowd, but you're not playing the songs that just the crowd wants to hear. It's actually what you want to hear. And you can, like, hear that passion come out whenever y'all are playing those songs. Like, you can tell, like, you actually enjoy it versus just playing what everybody else wants to hear. Was music, like, always kind of just an easy thing for you?
Music was, if I had something going on, everything, I would just go to music. Music was everything for me. If just something was going on through my life, I would always go to music, and it was just always there for me.
But you never get like burnt out on it or anything? Because that's the problem with a lot of the younger artists, especially starting at 5 years old, that still blows my mind. But after doing it for so long, like, unfortunately, sometimes they get burnt out on it, and you're just not, nothing.
No, I never got burnt out of listening to music, singing music, and I started actually playing my guitar when I was in middle school. I actually started playing in middle school. I started playing in 7th grade, and I just started learning and playing all kinds of songs, and I started actually writing music, and the man who actually inspired me to write, his name is Robert Daniels.
Love Robert. Love Robert. Another Mountain Arts Center.
Yeah, he's also my boss.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
My tech boss. And I love Robert. And he inspired me to write, and he was just telling me and giving me pointers. And I was like, Robert, I'm going to start writing. And he just gave me all this great advice and all that stuff. And he was right, because he said, once you start, you can't quit. And I have not quit writing since I was actually a freshman.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm a senior now.
Yeah, see, that's another fun fact about you that blew my mind. Like, when Chris was up here, she's like, I think that she's even still in high school. I'm like, you're kidding me. There's no way. So you're 17?
I'm 17.
Wow, that's crazy. Like, to have the voice that you have, I would think that most female singers try for years to get that. I don't know, like, what you would call it, like, just the grit, I guess, just that oomph to
that
it.
Rasp
The rasps too. Like it just, So that's one thing that I loved about Janice was that raspiness, that oomph that she had.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like whenever you hear a song like Ball and Chain, like you're not just listening to a song. Like even just like talking about it, I get goosebumps because I can hear her wailing and you feel the energy of it. And that's the same feeling that I get whenever I'm listening to your music.
That's awesome.
Is just like you're like, whoa. You can just tell that you care about what you're saying. You're not just trying. I mean, you sound good, but that's not your ultimate goal. You're just trying to make a great song. And it's awesome that you're working with the Mountain Arts Center too, because I mean, what better of a place to develop here in Eastern Kentucky?
Yeah.
That's like. It's like the Motown of Eastern Kentucky almost. I mean, like everybody that works there or comes out of there
That's
are
the
just
place.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Like with Rachel Messer and Brennan Meek and everybody that has came out of there and still works there. It's just a fascinating place.
Yeah.
Whenever you think of just the raw amount of talent that comes out of there,
Yeah.
and there's so many people.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who has recorded with Brennan Meek at the Mac, and including me, I did. I recorded my first EP there, which is Yellow Line, and I recorded my new song "Walking Each Other Home," which is a single at the Mountain Arts Center. And Mac has always been there for me, and I work with Prestonsburg Tourism, and they're so great to me. And I'm actually starting to work with Pike Tourism as of now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the tourism departments are doing a lot for the local music scene around here, and I'm so thankful for that. Clyde, whenever, like, throughout your years at the Mountain Arts Center, are you amazed by the growth of it? Like, the people that I've talked to that have been there for quite a while, I mean, that they all basically say the same thing, that, like, what it is nowadays, they would have never thought that it would be what it is.
Well, you know, Billie Jean Osborne was the one that had that vision for that. And her whole vision was not necessarily my understanding now, not necessarily a venue for concerts, which is they do have concerts, but it was more for the education part of kids being able to be taught about music, you know. And there've been a lot of great kids come through there. We have a lot of great instructors, you know. And we have, I don't know how many we do have, 4, 5, 6 instructors maybe. Seen a lot of people come through. A lot of people that's
A lot of people come and go.
yeah. I mean, a lot of students, you know, that's done something with their music and so forth. You know, Rachel came. We have Front Porch Picking. We have it in the summer, and she started coming to that. And next thing you know, they asked her to be in the Opry, and then after that, you know what I'm saying? It goes on.
And then
from
she went
there.
on to The Voice and
Right.
everything.
You know,
Rachel's
but she come to
awesome.
Front
Yeah,
Porch
she
Picking
is.
where we
She's
first
awesome.
met her.
Yeah.
And not only are they doing music there now, I've seen that they're also doing like some like audio visual classes as well. They kind
Yeah.
of teamed up with the college and are doing stuff
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
more of Brennan Meek. I'm not.
Yeah, I figured.
I don't really know too much about that, but I know of it.
But it's just cool that, I mean, like you can no matter what type of field of entertainment that you're curious about going into, whenever it comes to the Mountain Arts Center, it's there. I mean, you can literally learn everything there.
Yeah. They used to have an art instructor. Actually, you know, he actually done your art with kids. That was several years ago. Had photography classes.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, Beth was involved with that, I think, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
Beth.
Yeah, and she's
My brother
phenomenal.
taught her.
She is.
He's a master photographer. He taught her for a while. So
Who's your brother?
Steve Porter.
Okay, I've heard of Steve.
He also teaches keys there. He teaches piano at the Mountain Arts.
Yeah, and he's also in my band. He's,
Is that your piano player?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
my keyboard.
Him during that Red Barn radio, man, he was tearing it up. Oh,
Yeah.
it had such a good sound to it. Whoever the
My
audio
much
guy.
older brother.
Yeah.
That's what he likes to say. That's what
That's
I
what he
tell
likes to say.
He is older, but anyway, he likes to say, "All right, I'm older."
But I mean, really, the Mountain Arts Center is the place to be for any young artist or any artist in general that's just wanting to either learn or grow around this area. And that's so awesome, too, because before, I mean, you basically had to go on YouTube or hope that you could find somebody to teach you and all of that. Now we have a hub for the young artists around the area to go and learn. And, this area is so weird. Like, I've lived in quite a few places in my lifetime, but Eastern Kentucky, just the sheer amount of talent that comes out of this area, it's unmatched. Like, it's weird how talented this area is. I mean, there's not another place like it, I don't think.
Eastern Kentucky will for always be like we always have so much amazing local talent here, local artists, and I really do believe that Eastern Kentucky has the best music and the best artists here.
I have to agree. And I mean, just the bigger people now in country music is all coming from Eastern Kentucky too.
Yeah.
Chris Stapleton, Sturgill Simpson, Tyler Childers. And I know people might like Luke Bryan or Florida Georgia Line or whatever, but if you're a fan of what I call real country,
right,
a lot of it is coming from Eastern Kentucky.
Right, I agree.
What do y'all think of that new Sturgill Simpson album?
I really like it. I enjoy listening to it.
I've not had a chance to listen to it.
I just now got a chance yesterday. It took me quite a bit too, but whoo! I love that bluegrass is getting more popular again now too. Like the new version of your song, "Walking Each Other Home." Oh, it is awesome.
Yeah, I just recently released it. I think it was a month ago when I did, or what? It was actually this month when I did release it. I had to think about it. It's still August, but yeah, I released it, and the reason why I wrote "Walking Each Other Home" was actually for I wrote it for Berea College because a man that was working with Berea College, his name is Adam Atkins, and he got with me and he said, "Hey, would you be interested in writing a song for Berea College to use for some stuff and all that stuff?" And he goes, "Yeah, but it will have to be about 8 minutes long." And so that was one of the longest songs that we did was "Walking Each Other Home," and we recorded it, and I wrote it within 2 weeks, and I just kind of rushed, went to the Mac, and I was like, "Hey guys, I want to do this bluegrass song," and we practiced with it, and I was like, "But it's going to be extra long because they want it long, so it's 8 minutes long."
It is awesome though, because like I'm weird. Whenever I work out, especially running, whenever I go running, I listen to bluegrass music. Just that fast-paced picking, like it gets me going. I love it, especially if you're running through the hills or something like that. And that's what I love about that song is that it's 8 minutes long because you can.
It's almost 8 minutes long.
Yeah, you can really get a good workout of it. I thought that y'all might have just got carried away playing or something like that. I didn't know why it was 8 minutes long, but I'm thankful that it is.
Yeah,
we just kept we
just kept on going.
The prize at the end, and we just kept going over and over doing breaks and whatever. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, it all worked out too, and like sometimes you can tell like if a song is rushed. But I would have never guessed that you done it all in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we did it all in 2 weeks, and not that it was just rushed. Like we all had a great time playing and getting together, and I was like, "Hey, Matt Schofield, you can come in and play your mandolin on it," since I wanted almost all Kentucky instruments in it, because this song was for Kentucky positivity.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean it speaks Kentucky, not just the words, but just the sound of it. And I loved your Red Barn version radio of the song. It was good, but this version, I mean, it's a totally different song.
It was Red Barn Radio was more of an acoustic version, more maybe country than bluegrass, because a lot of my band members couldn't make it to Red Barn Radio. Like Connor McGlone, he couldn't make it that day, our drummer. And but Red Barn Radio was a really great experience.
Yeah, it's cool what they're doing for local artists too. I mean, just giving them a platform like that to get exposed to a nationwide audience. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it wasn't for Red Barn Radio, I don't know where Tyler Childers would be.
Yeah,
like literally. Yeah. A lot of his early career, that's where it took off, was Red Barn Radio.
Yeah, I was there and I was talking to one of the workers and I said, "So tell me, you have to tell me, how was Tyler Childers?" Because he like worked with him there, and he said, man, Tyler Childers is just so unique working with and everything. And they said he was quiet, but he was just like really unique and had really great stories that they told him and everything.
Yeah. That's another thing that I like about the newer style of country is it's went back to the storytelling.
Yeah.
That's what I think made the older style of country so great. Was it was just stories, and it was more than just listening to a song. You could like picture everything in your head as it was going along. What do you think of like the new style of country there, Clyde? Did you think that it was ever going to make this big 180 that it's made nowadays?
You know, it went from when I was a child. I listened to everything from Iron Butterfly. My mom was in a record club, and we got, Iron Butterfly.
Yeah. Inagata DeVita
absolutely.
Is such a crazy song.
And it's supposed to be in the Garden of Eden, and he was doped out of his mind. So Inagata DeVita.
That's a good fun fact about the song. Well, but one time at my high school, I was a little bit of a prankster, and they put in a jukebox. And they had Inagata DeVita on there. But I mean, the full version, the full 20-minute version.
Yeah, it just went on and on and on.
And I brought like $5 worth of quarters to school
just
that day.
Played.
I started playing it at breakfast. And like by lunchtime, like 6 hours later, it was still going.
That would cause somebody to go into convulsions. But anyway.
The principal unplugged it eventually.
But talking about that, we listened to stuff like Percy Sledge growing up, and Dolly Parton, and you name it, Conway Twitty. We listened to all that. My mom was all into that, and we even listened to some Irish stuff. And there was a whole big gambit of music. I mean, from everything from the Rolling Stones to whatever.
Yeah.
But I seen country, and some people will probably kill me over this. It went from storytelling, like you said, to can you differentiate between it and rock and roll?
Yeah, I get that.
And then now, with Chris Stapleton and everything, I listened to Chris Stapleton when he was with the Steel Drivers.
Yeah. A lot of people aren't familiar with that. Where the rainbows never die. Oh my God, it gets me every time.
And then he went to Nashville, and you see him at CMAs one time, and he's singing with Luke Bryant a song that he wrote. And they got a silhouette of him, and when he opens his mouth to do the backup vocals, I was watching it, and I said, "That's Chris Stapleton." And then it was like 6 months later,
his voice.
he hit,
Yeah.
I said he should be at the front instead of whoever.
Yeah, and more power to Chris. Get your money, brother. I understand it.
Absolutely.
Where he's doing songs with Pink and Justin Timberlake and all that. Get your money, brother. And I'm so thankful that like his new album was as good as it was.
Yeah, it's called Starting Over.
Yeah, the song Starting Over on Starting Over.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was. But whenever I heard that, I'm like, yes. I was kind of worried about him there for a little bit. I'm like, oh man, don't start sounding like Luke Bryan. Please don't start sounding like Luke Bryan.
Luke Bryan's going to call up here on your podcast.
I really think that Chris Stapleton's actually one of the OGs, one of the real ones, because his voice is just so unique and he's just true to himself. And I don't think he's ever going to actually change himself for other people, but I think he's going to stay true to himself.
I think so too.
You can differentiate when you hear him sing. There's nothing like it.
Oh no! I mean, just he can do a cappella and still bring the house down. That just the power of his voice. I just got worried there for a little bit whenever he was doing a bunch of features and all that. I'm like, oh, please don't. But no, I guess he just got that money and got out of there. So good for you, Chris. Good for you. I'm a really big fan of Sturgill Simpson though, like what he's doing. What I love about him is no album sounds the same. Yeah. Like that dude is just all over the place.
Yeah, different genres.
Yeah, like you'll have a psychedelic rock album, and then you have a bluegrass album. It's just
I love his album where he's on the the lawnmower.
Oh, yeah, cutting grass,
I
yeah.
just love that album.
And what the way that I kind of describe, because I come from Georgia, and a lot of my family down there aren't familiar with people like Sturgill Simpson and Tyler Childers. What I tell them is like Tyler is like the new Willie, and Sturgill is like the new Waylon.
Yeah.
And I
relates
think
a lot.
I think that's like a good way to kind of summarize what them two guys do. And I wish they'd do like a joint album together.
I think so too, and I think they've actually worked together some.
Yeah, I think Sturgill like produces almost everything that Tyler does.
Yeah.
He took Tyler under his wing, and then Tyler got a little bit bigger than Sturgill.
Yeah.
But and I can't wait for a new Tyler Childers record either.
Yeah, me too.
I love what he done with the whole fiddle album that he done, and I'm curious to see what he does next. But hey, we'll see. But speaking about music, though, I see that y'all have y'all's instruments, and I'd say that they're getting pretty heavy over there by now.
No.
But
They feel natural.
Yeah.
I would say so. It's probably
Natural.
almost became like a part of your body.
It is.
At this point.
Yeah. Forget to take it off.
part of my
Don't we, Zoe?
soul.
We get to forget to take them off. We just walk around.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that y'all brought your instruments today, though. Not a lot of artists do, and it's okay. I don't tell them whether to or not. But I'm a really big fan of what you're doing. So this is going to be so cool for me to see it live here in person in the studio. But what are y'all going to be doing for us today?
We're gonna, if you don't mind, we're gonna just play a couple songs for you, and it's off my EP album, and we're gonna do a little bit of Yellow Line and Burn.
Sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with the music here in just a second.
Well, you got one shoe on your left and a gas pedal on your right. You ain't got no worries in your head, just some thoughts about living life. You'll keep on running away from your problems, you don't realize that you got a set of wheels and you're kissing your past goodbye. You keep on cruising down on by, wasting all that time. Ain't got no money, cruising on down that yellow line. Well, you don't know where you're going, you don't know where you'll be, 'cause you told your folks back home what you've begun, and they let you leave. Cruising down on by, wasting all that time. Ain't got no money, cruising on down that yellow line. Cruising down on by, wasting all that time. Ain't got no money, cruising on down that yellow line. Cruising down on by, wasting all that time. Ain't got no money, cruising on down that yellow line.
I was going to ask you this earlier. I about forgot. How did you get the name for your band, Yellow Line?
Everyone asks me that. They're like, why is it yellow line? Is there something about the color yellow or going down a line or something? I'm like, no, it's about the road.
Yeah, that's
and it's
okay.
I mean, people's like, is it yellow lines or line, plural or single? And I'm like, it's line because when you're driving down the road, when my band is driving down the road, and we're just going on and we go down that line, and wherever it goes, wherever it takes us, we'll go there. And it's just about the adventures and traveling down the line, and you never know where you'll get on down the line.
I dig it. I dig it. So what's the next tune that y'all are going to be doing for us?
This is another one of my originals, and it's also on my first EP that came out, and it's called Burn.
I love this song.
And this song is about, it's just, I hope to inspire whoever's going through a hard time by this song. And it's mainly about if you're going through issues, if you're having struggles, if you're sad about bad memories, you can just throw them memories away and burn them bad memories.
I dig it. Take it away.
Spring night when you're feeling alright, you just laying there thinking about the boy you love. But in your case, your love was really fake, and you get that call, what's his name? It was heartbreak. At the matches, honey, get that fire started when you're feeling broken down, lonely. Gotta burn them memories, holding on just a little bit longer, makes them a little bit stronger. So burn away. Oh, the flames get high, but higher will go. I don't blame you. Tired of that awful man to ruin your spark. But ignite that spark just a little bit longer, makes you stronger. Hit the matches, honey, get that fire started when you're feeling broken down, lonely. Gotta burn them memories, holding on just a little bit longer, makes them a little bit stronger. Burn away. Oh, burn away, burn it all down, 'cause he brought you down, no holding back now. At the matches, honey, get that fire started when you're feeling broken down, very lonely. Gotta burn them memories, holding on just a little bit longer, makes them a little bit stronger. Burn away.
Wow. I still can't believe you're just 17. That blows my mind. Thank y'all for coming up here today. This
Thank you
was
so much.
absolutely awesome. This was everything that I wanted it to be.
It's just been a really great experience to be here. It's been awesome. You've been
fun.
awesome.
No, y'all are the ones doing awesome things. I'm just so thankful that they're like younger people are taking such a passion and really great music. You're the only 17-year-old that I know of that knows who Janis Joplin is.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, like you're like an Appalachian Janis Joplin, and you're like an Appalachian Prince with all the instruments that you can play.
Oh my God.
We call him Papa Goose, by the way.
Also, you have one of the greatest bluegrass band names that I've ever heard in my entire
great.
life.
I will bring you a shirt. I'll tell you.
What was the name of it again?
Possum Up a Gum Stump Band.
For the people that don't know, explain what a gum stump is.
I have no earthly idea. And I know there's a gum tree, okay? And I didn't know nothing about it. A guy that I played in a bluegrass group in college with, he would tell me, he'd say, that's a possum up a gum stump. There's a gum tree, evidently. I mean, you know, and I know a little bit about trees. But anyway, and I started looking it up, and he's my best friend, and he's a heck of a banjo player.
Yeah.
Me and him both play banjo. I played banjo on her on that song on Walking Each Other Home. I'm the banjo, whatever. But anyway, that's where it came up, and I started looking up. It's an old fiddle tune. It's called, and it's an old late 1800s, and it's called Possum Up a Gum Stump. And so it just come out of me that day when that guy said, we need you to fill in a spot, and we got like 4 or 5 musicians, and it was not a paying thing, and it just took off from there. I mean, people were wanting shirts, and we'd go out and eat after we played, and we called it we done a thing at Christmas for the recital, like we done a Trans-Siberian Orchestra song. We called it the Trans-Siberian Possum.
I like that.
We done some rock and roll, so we called it Van Possum. Van Halen, Van Possum.
I get it. I get it.
So then that's where it is stuck, and everybody sees the shirts. And it was all a big joke. It was just a joke.
He's got these shirts, and it's like a possum hanging from that goat tree.
The first one they made was a possum sitting on his hind end with a straw hat on, a big old fat possum with John Lennon's sunglasses on, playing a banjo.
That's a pretty cool design.
That's a pretty cool design. But
I like that.
That was like copyrighted, so one of the wives made it. We had these made.
That's like our spirit animal, like possums.
That should almost be like our state bird almost.
Honestly, like you should see my guitar case. It's got possums all over my guitar case.
And that's like a weird thing too on Facebook. Like you see a lot of possum memes and stuff nowadays. I don't know why possums are so popular nowadays. Maybe they're just a great animal.
I had a family of students that raised one on a bottle, and they would bring it to class.
Whoa.
His name was Jasper. He's dead now, but they'd bring a pea pad. And
it'd use the pea pad?
He
Like
would
it was
use a
potty
pea pad,
trained?
and you could hold him like a baby.
I've never heard of a potty trained possum.
Yeah, they'd carry him. He'd really hold him up, and he'd lay there like a baby.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He was the king of all possums.
Are y'all still doing stuff as a group too?
Yeah.
We do the tourism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she'd been playing with us because our queen possum is went to school, and
Yeah, she goes to Moorhead. Her name is Jenna Dunaway.
yeah, she's from
It's a
Lee
great
County.
name.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
But I tell her she's still queen, so she won't get her feelings hurt. But I mean, Zoe's been filling in and doing the bluegrass with us too, you know. So
Will y'all create some beautiful music together? Who else is in the band? Let's give them a quick shout out.
My band is Connor McGlone, and
That's
he's
Longshanks McGlone.
Longshanks McGlone. He's our drummer. He's at EKU right now. And we got Jason Justice. He works down at Mount Music Exchange.
I love Jason.
Yeah,
Jason's such a good guy.
He
He's a
plays
punk.
the
Go
bass. Of course, we got Papa Goose on the acoustic, Clyde.
Bag out.
And we got Robert Daniels. He plays like the steel. He plays electric
guitar,
a lot.
cello.
Fiddle, cello. He plays a lot of the
Right.
I didn't know
music.
Robert was that gifted.
Robert Daniels. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And we also have Steve Porter on the keys.
Yeah. And buddy,
that is
your
my
brother
band.
can play some keys. Good.
He's punk too, so it's,
But for the people that want to check out y'all's music, and for the listeners out there, please check out this music. It is phenomenal. For anybody that wants to check out the music and see all the upcoming shows and everything that y'all have going on,
we got one Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep. So where do they go to check out the times and the music and all that good stuff?
You can go to my page on Facebook or Instagram, and they're both called Zoe Howard Music, and I have upcoming gigs on there. I have merch on there, and I have the websites to click on it to go straight to iTunes, Spotify, and my YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah. So everywhere, basically.
Everywhere.
Zoe, Clyde, thank y'all so much. This was phenomenal. I love the sound that y'all have going on, and I can't wait to see what the future holds in store for y'all.
Thank you.
See you next week, folks. Boom.